Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
What's the most boring sport to watch? Pro fencing is actually not very entertaining. They're so fast that you have no idea what happened. So it's a couple of people with swords bouncing back and forth for about 30 seconds. Something happens, and then it's over. As a fencer I can confirm. Even if you're very familiar with the sport, it is very fast-paced and the calls can be difficult to see or even understand once points are awarded. That's why they both celebrate no matter who got the point. They're hoping the judges will assume they missed something. Yeah, watching amateurs. Intermediated fight can be much more interesting, as there are more interesting maneuvers, longer rounds, etc. It's a great sport to actually do. Little League T-ball when your kid isn't up. You think T-ball is bad? Wait until your first year of kid pitch. An entire game of strikeouts and walks. When my sister got old enough for kids pitch softball, it was honestly the worst. The girls literally couldn't throw it hard enough to get over home plate. It was walk after walk after walk, and it was so hard watching all the parents continue to try and be supportive, but at this point literally nobody wants to be there. Not even the players. I saw a drone racing on ESPN the other day, and I was like, what the hell am I watching? Boring to watch but probably pretty fun to do. My opinion of pretty much every sport TBH. I can respect the skill, and I'd bet it's kind of cool to see in person. But it just doesn't translate on TV, at all. It's entertaining for 5 minutes and then gets old real quick. They're probably not the most boring, but the endless commercials and timeouts make American sports unbearable to watch. I love American football. However, the constant commercial breaks get so annoying. They'll score, then a commercial break, then come back for one play to kick off to the opposing team. Then go back to commercial already. Pouting. Red zone is your friend. 7 hours of commercial-free football grin. Golf. I thought watching golf was bad until I had a long drive with my old boss during the US Open. Turns out golf on the radio is worse. That's actually an old joke. What's more boring than golf on TV? Golf on radio. Rowing. I have been rowing competitively for years and I understand the nuances. Yet it's still the dullest thing in the world. Most entertaining thing is when somebody accidentally ends up in the wrong lane. I feel so bad for them, but yeah. It's also more interesting when someone catches a crab. Still only a few seconds of a 6 to 8 minute race, but it does add something to it. A boxing or MMA fight with two defensive fighters. Nothing more boring than watching two people just circle one another and actively avoid doing the one thing that everyone is paying to see them do. If you wait on the river long enough, the corpse of your enemies will float by. Sun Tzu. Someday I will actually read The Art of War just so I can tell if someone is trolling or not when they quote it. Fishing. When people start putting lead weights in the fish, it's fucking go time. We've got weights in fish. Esports when you don't play the game they play. I find that FPS games are really easy to follow even if you have no idea about the game. Like before I knew anything about CSGO, I could still watch CSGO esports since all I really needed to enjoy was the killing aspect of the game. I've had mixed success with that. I can't tell what's going on in Overwatch, but Counter-Strike is one of my favorites. As an Overwatch and OWL fan, even I can see how no one new to the game understands what's happening. People who play Overwatch don't know about the payload either. A sport I thought would be boring but I love to watch drunk. Curling. Gets me more hyped than anything. I'll be sitting there yelling, brush the fuck out of that ice. Quote. Are curling the Winter Olympic sport you watch as a joke only to find out it's the most interesting sport at the Winter Olympics. It's like chess on ice. As a huge Formula 1 fan, depending on where the race is, it's even more boring than NASCAR. Monaco is basically looking at scenery with commentary for 2 hours. Something crazy almost always happens though. You just gotta wait for it. At least qualifying is intense. Until it rains, then you gotta make popcorn. Staying up to watch Suzuka. What a mistake. Laughs in Spa. What? You don't appreciate 5 hours with 50 laps of Verstappen in first with no overtakes anywhere on the grid. Jokes aside, I know what you mean. What was the most boring race of the past season? France. Mexico? Something I can't remember. France at least had Leclerc crash out. Aside from DR's penalty drive, Mexico has absolutely nothing. Surfing. Hours of contestants just bobbing around the ocean and commentators trying their best to fill the gaps in action. I still watch almost every major contest, though. Lifelong surfer and was competitive in my younger days, and yeah. The waiting for waves is super boring as a contest spectator. But when a set comes, it's on. I don't watch many contests, but when I do, I am usually working, so I'll have it running in the background and only switch over when I hear the announcers get excited about something coming out the back. I once had a doctor ask me what I do for exercise, and when I told him I surf, He told me all I do is sit in the water and that isn't exercise. I told him to paddle out with me sometime lol. My runner friend who runs 12 miles a day without blinking was gassed after 15 to 20 minutes in the water. I'm justifying. But yeah, it's boring. Highlights is where it's at. Edit. Clarification. Med student who is a surfer here. That doctor is a dumbass.